So we're looking ahead to Gameweek 12. The international break is still a few days away from ending. But yeah, we've had a bit of a break. So we've decided to change the format of the show. We don't want to be talking your ears off every single week with 45 minutes, 1 hour. So we want to bring you a more shorter, more focused show. So from now on, we're going to look at whatever models, whatever predictions we generate to give you what we feel is the dream team or the team of the week going into a specific game week. And we're hoping that that can give you much more focus on making your decisions in your FPL team. So Greg, welcome back. It's been about 2 weeks since we've last spoken. And yeah, how's things going, man?
Yeah, thanks, Clyde. It was a terrible weekend without any soccer on, but it's really, really good to be getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah, same here. Like, I must say, look, you know what? I miss the football, not so much FPL. but yeah, look, it was nice to have a little bit of a break, I suppose, as well. And obviously that's when you have breaks, you have all these thoughts of changing the format of the show and stuff like that over there. But yeah, look, it feels like such a long time ago now that Game Week 11 finished. But I suppose we're all saying the same thing, that Trent Alexander-Arnold probably saved our week a little bit towards the end. And so how did your week go last time around? Do you even remember?
Jeez, it was so far ago. It wasn't a bad week. I got 62 points, which was well above the average. But for the second week in a row, I didn't have any attacking returns other than Mo Salah.
So that's cancelled. We don't count.
Yeah, we don't count that because it doesn't make any difference. So my defense is really holding me up there at the moment. So it was a very, very small red arrow. But yeah, I was generally happy. It just hopefully the attackers can start coming to the party.
Yeah, same here. I got a small red arrow from like 244 to 250 something. I mean, in the context, it's probably like a grey dot or whatever you want to call it, you know. And I think I got like 54 points or something like that over there. And for my team makeup or the way I got my points is slightly different to yours, where yes, I did have like Trent and Chelsea's clean sheet got wiped out, right? But yeah, at least I think you have James, who probably saved you a little. He got bonus points and
I had James, Ramsdale and Cancelo. We all came to the party big time.
Right, so I didn't have Cancelo and James, but I had Ramsdale, which is my first goalkeeper clean sheet for the whole season. So I was quite chuffed about that's right, you know. And he made one save and ended up getting a bonus point as well. So yeah, he's quite a magnet at the moment. But I've been actually getting, I got Rafinha has returned 18 points over the last 2 game weeks. And I think, you know, for me, he's been a very underrated hold from Game Week 1. I think at 6.5 million. I know a lot of people are looking for those double-digit holds and so on. But for me personally, I mean, if you look at somebody like Gallagher, he's got about 10 points more than Rafinha all season. Yes, he's cheaper, but I still think, for what it's worth, 6.5, Rafinha has offered good value this season.
Yeah, I think he's been great.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully now, again, like you're saying, a little bit more attacking returns would be welcome. And in saying that, let's kick it off. Let's kick off this new format of the show. So what formation you're going to be playing? Or what? Sorry, not you, but your Game Week 12 team. What formation will be the most optimal formation for this weekend?
So the dream team this week, it looks like 3-5-2 is the optimal. The mids are certainly coming through with a lot of points, and there are 3 defenders that, well, you just can't really go without, and they certainly cement their spot in the dream team this week as well.
Right. So if I had to take a guess over here, it's so you said 3 defenders. So obviously it will be a Chelsea one. So Chilwell/James. Right, and then Trent and Cancelo. How far off am I here?
Absolutely nailed. Chilwell slightly edges James, But I would say it's pretty much a toss-up between those two at the moment. And then, yeah, for sure, Trent you can't go without, and Cancelo's, I mean, his numbers are just unbelievable.
Right, and what gives Chilwell the edge in this team over James?
It's interesting. If I look on the model, I think that his assist threat is slightly higher than James. Let me have a quick look. James at 0.45 and Chilwell. No, it's actually goal threat. Funnily enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Chilwell's goal threat's actually nearly double James's goal threat if we're looking at expected numbers.
Well, I suppose there has to be some type of normalization as well. And whereas like James has scored his goals in 1 or 2 fixtures, Chilwell seems to be more consistent as well.
Yeah, so the model definitely normalizes all the expected data by fixture difficulty. So taking that into account, looking at fixtures as if they were all rated 100% instead of obviously the variance that you get with stronger and weaker teams, then yeah, Chilwell edges it at the moment.
Now, here's an interesting one that I was looking at, okay, because I was looking at the expected goals conceded, right, and no surprises that Manchester City are right at the top in terms of XGC, okay? But second was Crystal Palace. They have an expected goals conceded of 10.80 and they've conceded 14. So not that I suppose they are conceding more, but I was surprised to see Crystal Palace up there. And so yeah, I suppose based on that over there, players like Tyreek Mitchell or Guaita may come into our thinking soon, I suppose.
It's very difficult. The problem is that when you look at the numbers is that those sort of numbers are very fixture dependent, and although we've only had 11 weeks, which is it's not insignificant, once you normalize those numbers, I think the effect starts to become a little bit less. But I think the main reason that Palace defenders aren't really showing anywhere on my model is that there just seems to be no attacking threat from any of them.
I see. Right.
So
that makes sense.
the attacking threat actually makes up quite a big portion of the points that the top defenders are scoring.
Right, so I suppose if you want a 4.5 million bench for the option, then that's they're a good candidate. But obviously, with such value in defense at the moment, they're not going to rate that highly. Then.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think there is, huge numbers coming out of defense this year, and I think with that, I think you at the moment I'm playing 4 at the back in my team personally, and I think when you look at a 5-game week range, it's very difficult not to have 4 defenders. When you look at Trent, Chilwell, James, Cancelo, those 4 are very hard to avoid at the moment, and you're almost scared to go into a game week without them because any of them can haul massively.
Yeah. I've been lucky. I've been getting away with not having James and Cancelo. I suppose it's been balanced out by someone like Rafinha coming through with some points, but I've massively got away with it. So yeah. So look, no surprises in the defensive options over there. I think it's almost a given. The ceiling for these players are just so high at the moment that you feel you could, I suppose, like I said, you could get away with not having 1 or 2, but you have to have at least 3 premiums in your team right now.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to go. I think Trent and Salah are pretty much nailed choices at the moment for me anyway, and then it's just a question of who else you go with. And if you consider Cancelo a premium defender, then I think he's also got to be a nailed spot in your side. I think it's going to be very difficult to continue without him. City's fixtures are the best for the upcoming weeks by quite a shot, with Chelsea in second, and I think we're going to see quite a few clean sheets from the City boys.
Yeah. Okay. And then goalkeepers. So, I spoke about bringing in Ramsdale for ahead of game week 11. I got my first clean sheet. But who's your pick for goalkeeper for this weekend, considering that Ramsdale is playing against Liverpool? So that will probably put him off your list. So
yeah, that certainly hurts his chances this week. The dream team keeper for this week is actually the forgotten man of the season, De Gea, and that's United's defense has been pretty diabolical, but they're playing Watford away, and Watford is just too good a fixture. So for this week, De Gea is definitely the goalkeeper pick.
Yeah, and what I like about that pick as well is the fact that if, let's say, for example, you're looking to bring in a differential goalkeeper of some sort, the fixture swing for Manchester United from game week 14 onwards looks so good that there's, the chances of clean sheets increases over there, and the fact that United have been so poor in defense anyway. He's almost like a one-man wall where you make 5 or 6 saves a game and still get you some save points as well, and possibly be a bonus points magnet if United keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, I mean, even given their recent form, I think when their fixtures are going to start to swing, and they've got a tough fixture in game week 13 against Chelsea away, but other than that, their fixtures look really good, and I think from a defensive point of view anyway, they're ranked 4th, which is not bad at all. And once they get through game week 13, I mean, that rank's going to go up. So I think it's definitely worth considering. I think for the moment, the other defenders are just too good from an attacking perspective that maybe De Gea is the guy to get into that United defense.
Yeah, that actually sounds like quite a good option over there. And just to give people some context as well, like, we've obviously, come up with a dream team of some sort, but it doesn't, obviously, yes, we're picking the best players for this specific upcoming game week. But if you are going to be transferring in any of these players, then just make sure that you also proceed with caution and you not look at one game week only. You've got to have a plan that's longer than that as well. So yeah, especially with somebody like De Gea, look at him for more than, obviously, yes, Watford is a good fixture, but if you're bringing him in, then you're going to be bringing him in for the long term, So yeah. So that's an interesting pick there, Greg. And then now onto the midfield. So I'm not even going to waste your time over there. Salah is definitely going to be in there, and I'm assuming you're captaining him as well, right?
Yeah, not much to say. His stats are just through the roof. Put the armband on him. Number one pick overall. Let's stick him in our team.
Right. Okay, so then let's move to the rest of them now. So anyway, go through it. Let's hear what's the rest of your midfield looking like.
Okay, so the model really likes Mane as well. He's second on the model at the moment, but given that he's possibly carrying an injury from the international break, we're going to have to wait and see for press conference news to find out exactly.
Well, he was training today. He was pictured training, so that was good news.
Yeah, that's good news. But again, you just got to be a little bit wary of whether he's going to start or not. Yeah. So wait for press conferences. So given that, I've gone Diogo Jota as the second Liverpool pick, and then in terms of the rest of them, Foden comes up just behind Mane on the projection. So we've got Foden probably with the vice captain armband, and if you're looking for an alternative to Salah, which I don't recommend too much, I would say Foden's probably your best bet. And then again, the forgotten player from last season, Gundogan, who is back and fit. Yeah. And he's only owned by something ridiculous like 2.5% of FPL players, and he's projected to come really high. He's been back for a game. He scored 2 goals for Germany in the international break, and I think that he's ready to explode. I think he's definitely the guy that I'm looking to bring into my FPL team this week.
So you're looking at possibly going double with Foden and Gundogan?
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see what the City lineup predictions look like, but I think the Foden Gundogan double up is very enticing. It's that or going with Jota. Again, that depends on what the injury status of Firmino is, what the latest is, and how long he's going to be out. The thing I like about going Gundogan is that he's a long-term pick. He's the guy that played the most minutes last season He was the most consistent starter when it comes to the Pep roulette. And whereas Jota, you've got a 2-3 week ticking time bomb of when the rotation starts again. And that's what you have to weigh up. I think Jota will possibly outscore him in the near term, but once that rotation kicks in again, then you just that's the worst thing when your player doesn't play or comes on for 30 minutes, which Jota does a lot. It's quite frustrating.
Yeah. Look, and the one thing I've noticed about City, and I'm sure many have spoken about this before, is that when their players get an opportunity in the team, it's very rarely that they get a block of 1 or 2 fixtures or 1 on 1 off. We maybe saw it last season where like John Stones would get a game, then not get a game, or there was more defensive rotation. But if you look at the attacking players, it's almost like Mahrez will come in, get a block of 5 or 6 fixtures, and then all of a sudden he'll disappear for like a month or 2 months, like what we're seeing now. And then Grealish, like he started the season and now all of a sudden he's a rotation risk. He's starting off the bench. And then Foden started, well, he was injured, then he started all the games, and he may become a rotation risk. Or when I say rotation risk, I don't even know want to call it that. He just won't be playing at all,
Yeah.
And it's
I think the Champions League has a big part to play in that as well. As they progress further through the Champions League, then those key players get rested for those big Champions League games.
Exactly, yeah. So I think, like, especially when you speak about Gundogan as well, I don't think it's that risky in terms of the Pep roulette, because I think provided that you have, look, most of us have cover on our bench this season anyway, and there's such an upside to these players, but I don't think it's that much of a risk. Maybe it's famous last words now, right? But I don't think it's that bad, because I've seen it so far. It's like you look at it, it's very rarely like it's just 2 games in or 1 game in, 1 game out or whatever. It's always a block of fixtures, and then they go missing and then they come back in, so yeah, I think it's actually quite a good move as well.
Yeah, and I think also the price is just phenomenal. Gundogan at 7 point, to get 2 City players who are goal scorers for City at 7.2 for Gundogan and 8.3 for Foden. It's almost too good to turn down. You don't even mind if there is a little bit of rotation, because you can afford some bench cover with prices like that.
Yeah, and then you mentioned Salah, Foden, Jota, and Gundogan. Did I miss the 5th one?
Yeah, so the 5th one is, now this also is going to depend on injury news, because I see that Lukaku is back and in training and seems to be coming closer to fitness, but Kai Havertz takes up the 5th spot, and if that's a rotation risk and Lukaku's looking like he could possibly play, then it's an easy switch to Mount. Mount is quite comfortably the next best midfielder on the list.
Interesting one. My pick would have been Gallagher. I don't know. I just feel like I like Crystal Palace's fixtures in the short term. I think they've got some good fixtures coming up, where I think Palace can score some goals. I suppose Zaha is an option as well, but I just like Gallagher at that price, because I think then it allows me to get some other options in as well.
Yeah, he's shot up phenomenally well. His stats this season compared to last season are chalk and cheese, and he really looks like a brilliant young player. I think that he's made strides all the way up to, I think, for the next 5 game weeks, I think he's ranked 20th on my model, which is quite a distance to come, because I think he started off probably outside of the top 100. So he's definitely the star attraction at the moment. So we'll see how the numbers go. For now, I'm holding off. I'm going with the more tried and tested guys. But he's certainly an option, especially if you have any budget issues.
Yeah, right. And then on to the forwards. So so obviously it'll be 2 forwards. So what's your picks over there?
So forwards, one that there's actually been quite a bit of talk about him recently with the change of management, but Wilson is always been high up on my list, and as you know, he's been a solid feature in my FPL team this season. And they've got Brentford at home, and I think Wilson's projected to score really highly this week.
Yeah, and I was looking at the fixtures. So now, obviously, a few weeks ago we were talking about Brentford defensively, how good they are. But I don't know if David Raya being injured has had anything to do with it. But all of a sudden, their form seems a bit patchy at the moment, and now they're not putting up the same numbers anymore, right? And with possible new manager bounce as well, and the fact that Wilson is just such a good goal scorer, I'm also I won't be surprised if I have him in my team come this game week.
Yeah, it's interesting how the newly promoted teams have this sort of hangover effect, which does start after the first sort of 10 games. There are a lot of teams that start really well in the Premier League. They come up from the Championship. They're really motivated, and it's very difficult to maintain that level. And I think that's sort of what Brentford are experiencing at the moment. Obviously, with a few injuries that haven't helped, but you sort of do get that little bit of a hangover effect coming in. Yeah. And it starts to realize just how tough this league is to do it for 38 games in a season. Is very, very difficult.
And also the other teams are starting to look at them and say, spot patterns in their play and so on. Because now there's more video footage available or whatever it is. So coaches are able to go and put a plan in place to combat these teams as well. I mean, we saw with Sheffield United a few years ago, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and what I like about Wilson as well, just one more thing about him, is that he's got Brentford up next. I can't remember what the fixture after that. It's not such a great one. But then the two fixtures after that, I think, is Burnley and Norwich. So Burnley are a bit resurgent at the moment. So I don't know what to make of that one. But I would still back Wilson in that fixture. And then Norwich, even with the new manager bounce, I just can't see it. I mean, the team is just so poor.
Yeah, look, I think they've got Brentford, Arsenal, Norwich, and Burnley.
That's the fixtures. Yeah.
I mean, that's the stretch that you want him for. And then I think it's a bit tougher. They've got Leicester away, Liverpool away, City at home, and United at home. So I think, possibly for the next 4 weeks, Wilson's the guy to have, and then maybe rotate him into someone else, and sort of when that tough fixture run hits.
And as an alternative, in that same price bracket as well, you could look at Armstrong plays against Adam Armstrong. Southampton play Norwich this weekend, so he could be an option, especially if you do have him in your team. I suppose like I do. Yeah. Then he becomes a good option as well. And then and then Wolves. I'm thinking of
Jimenez.
Jimenez or Huang as well. They've got West Ham up this week, which is not a great fixture. But if you have them, hold them, because they also have Norwich and is it Norwich and Burnley? Yeah, coming up soon as well. So and I was just looking at XG numbers as well. They're not that high up anymore. They're still in the top 6 or top 7. But when it comes to wastefulness, they're the second most wasteful team. So they got an XG of 15, but they've now scored 11 goals. Yeah. I think it was even the gap was like something like a delta of 7 a few weeks ago. Remember when we were talking about them? So it has that gap has closed a little bit. So I think maybe they'll be one to look at as well if you're looking for maybe a bit of a differential as well.
Yeah, I mean your Armstrong pick is spot on. He's actually the bench forward for the dream team. So definitely one to keep an eye on.
Oh well, there you go. So and then last forward, who is it?
Well, the last forward, just because he's Ronaldo. You have to against
Ronaldo
Watford.
Against Watford, you have to back him. So
and his
spicy captaincy option, is it that spicy anyway to put the captaincy on him?
Look, I mean, it's not spicy by any means, but interestingly enough, I'd actually, if I was going to choose a spicy pick out of all of those, it would be Wilson. I think Wilson against Brentford could be a really good, differential captain this week.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So there we go. So we've got 4 captaincy options effectively. Well, 3: Salah, Foden, and Wilson.
Yeah, those would be my top 3 for sure.
Right, and then to close off the bench, so you mentioned Armstrong, and James, because
yes.
and then so 2 more. Who are they?
Okay, so keeper would be McCarthy.
Nice pick,
Southampton are looking pretty good. They've got obviously Norwich, good fixture. They're 35% to keep a clean sheet, which is, I think pretty much second best this week. I mean, there's some splatterings around 37, 36%, but I think he's a great budget option. And then one that might surprise you is Tarkowski. From Burnley in defence.
That's an interesting one.
He's come up very highly in the model, and for a 1 week punt, definitely could be an option.
Well, here's some interesting numbers in terms of for people interested in Tarkowski, right? In terms of XG from set plays specifically, Burnley are the second highest. It's Brentford who's actually the highest. And so that's one. And they've scored 4 goals from set pieces so far, Burnley. From an XG of 5. And in terms of expected goals conceded, I won't go there because they're the third. They're the third poorest team. But I suppose Burnley always seem to have this block in the season where they come out of nowhere and drag themselves out of the relegation zone. So maybe this is their time now.
Well, I mean, it might surprise some people, but Burnley are favourites to win the game against Crystal Palace. So
that's interesting.
They're 39% to win, whereas Crystal Palace are 34. So obviously a draw is quite a significant chance, probability as well. But I think don't underestimate Burnley in this fixture.
Wow, that's an interesting one. So. And I never expected that one over there, to be honest with you, because I think Crystal Palace have been looking, fairly decent recently as well. But maybe it's recency bias and the City fixture as well, which also plays a part in it. So that's an interesting one. And so look, this team looks great actually, and just looking at it now, I'm thinking, especially I'm liking the double Liverpool and double City. Well, sorry, Arsenal fans, I have to go there, but it looks really, really. I think you'll get your attacking returns this week, Craig.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. It's time for the attackers to pull finger and actually contribute something. I can't keep holding rank, the rank where I am at the moment, if I don't start getting some goals scored.
Yeah, no, especially since we don't have a captaincy option anymore. It's just Salah being negated every week.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look, I hope everybody's listened to this and enjoy the new format. And if you listen to it, give us some comments on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever. Give us some feedback. Let us know if you like it. Let us know if you'd like us to add anything to it as well. But so that's a wrap for the Gameweek 12 Dream Team. And we'll chat about it next week, Greg, and hope all the best to everybody for Gameweek 12.
Yeah, good luck, Clyde. All the best for the weekend.
Yeah, cheers, man.